Hello there and welcome to this tutorial video. This is Happy Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. In this video, we'll be looking at addition and subtraction of vectors. Addition and subtraction of vectors. So let's say we have two vectors, vector A and then vector B. So with these two vectors, if we say we are adding A to B, we are adding B to A, then it simply means let's add this vector, which is our x1, y1, to x2, y2. You see, and we'll just work them according to their components. So that is, we are going to add x2 to x1, and we'll also add our y2 to our y1. And that is what will give us our vector what? The addition of vector A to B. The same way, if you wanted to, let me say, subtract, it's the same principle. All right. So that means that A minus B is going to be what? X1, then Y1, then minus X2, Y2. And what does that mean? That means we'll subtract X2 from X1, and then Y2 also from Y1. That is going to be our A minus B. So let's look at some practical examples and then see how we can apply these over here. Okay, so let's try this first example. It says if our A is 4, 3 and then B is what? 2, 1. Then let's find A plus B and then let's find B minus A. So how do we work this? So we know our A. Let me copy this to the next slide. So these are what we know from the question. And the first one says we want A plus B. So our solution. So our A plus B is just going to be the coordinates of A, which is 4, 3, then plus that of B. You see? So we have 4 plus 2, then we have 3 plus 1. And just take note that you do not write vectors as fraction, where you would go and write 4 plus 2 all over. No, they are not worked as fractions. So 4 plus 2 we know gives us what? A 6. And our 3 plus 1 gives us a 4. And if we finish also, we do not simplify to say 2 divides 6 this number of times and then into 4. This is just our final answer. And that will be our A plus B. All right. Now, on the other hand, if you want the next part of the question, which says we should look for B minus A. B minus A. So our B minus A, all right here, B minus A is also going to be our B first, which is 2, 1, then minus the A, which was 4, 3. Very simple. So we now want to evaluate. It means our B minus A is going to be equal to 2, then minus 4, that is 2 here, minus 4. Then we have our 1 minus 3. And 2 minus 4 gives us a what? Negative 2. Whilst 1 minus 3 gives us a negative 2 as well. And we do not say the negatives will cancel out. No, once again, we don't treat this as fractions, but we leave them just as they are, right? So if you want to be able to add and then subtract vectors, then you simply have to work on your integers, because there are some cases where your integers might confuse you. But then if your integers are good, then I think you'll be good to go. Let's look at one more example and then that'll be it. So this question here says we have to find A minus B minus C. If our A, this is the vector A, this is the vector B, and then this is the vector C. So how do we work this? As I said earlier on, your integers must be on point. So for A minus B minus C. Then we first need to put down our A. Our A is 7, 2. So 7, 2. Then minus our B. B is also a negative 2, 1. Then minus the C, which is negative 5, negative 3. If you want to evaluate this now, the X components are worked and then the Y's are also worked separately. So we have 7, then negative 2. You see how I've written that? You do it that way so you wouldn't be confused. Then we have a negative from here, then a negative 5 as well from here. Then for our Y component, we have 2, then negative 1, then negative or minus a negative 3. So we now do our simplification. Now simplifying this over here, realize that our 7, then negative and negative becomes plus, so plus 2, and same applies here, plus 5. Then for this we have 2 minus 1, which is 1. Then the negative and negative gives us a plus 3. So we evaluate 7 plus 2 gives us a 9, and then the 9 plus 5 gives us a 14. So for the X component, we are getting 14 for that. And then 1 plus 3 gives us a 4. So at this stage, we are done. There is nothing else to simplify. So this simply means A minus B minus C gives us the value 14, 4. So addition and subtraction of vectors are simple as you have seen. Now let me introduce one last thing that isn't related to addition and subtraction of vectors, after which I give some exercise. We call something a zero vector. A zero vector. So a zero vector, the zero vector is just a vector whose coordinates are 0, 0, right? So the zero vector is so let's say if vector A is a zero vector, then these are its coordinates, 0, 0. And we say the magnitude of the zero vector is what? 0. So a vector whose magnitude is 0 is a zero vector. So that is just by the way. So I'll write out some questions down so we do what? We answer to see or test our understanding. So you have some try work here. The vectors P, that is 2, 3, Q, that is 2, 5, and then R is a zero vector. You have to find P plus Q minus R, and then you have to find P minus Q, and then you have to find Q minus P. If you finish, let me know whether or not these two are the same. I do hope this video helps. If it does, you can like the video and then share as well. If this is your first time, this is Hub Beyond Numbers, where you learn maths the easy way. Stay blessed. Bye.